Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of Lucklight Plays. We're continuing our run-through of Destiny of the Emperor as part of 8-Bit Obscurity. And, I did a little bit of leveling, well not leveling, I did a little bit of, scouting, I guess you could call it, in between episodes. And picked up our old friend Hua Zhang, who we fought on the last episode as we conquered Sishui Gate. He's a very valuable member as my party right now, having a higher attack power than Yang Jin, who I used for a whole 3 seconds until Hua Zhang joined me. So here we are in a cave. Doesn't really have a name. There's no real bosses. This is kind of like a side mission cave, if you will. There is a reason to go here, though. You will find an item that will kind of help us out in later stages of the game. Again, how everybody fits in the cave, I don't know. But, caves in this game, some of them are tunnels to get in between places that you have to go through. Some of them have, like, extra stuff, more equipment, things like that. This one does. This one actually has a key item that you can skip, but you'd be kind of punishing yourself if you did. So that's what we're going after. And I mean really punishing yourself. This game kind of has a way that you want to go, and then a way that if you don't go the way that they wanted you to go, it shoves swords and axes down your face. Makes it possible, but very, very difficult. And I seem to be getting hits every turn, every step here, so. There are items later on in the game that will nullify random encounters, much like the marbles I used to use back in Breath of Fire. Those show up much later, so. I got 1,000 coins. 1,014. I don't know where the 14 came from, but whatever. Yeah, the only problem with fighting in caves is that the game loves to shove random battles into your face every 3 seconds, so that's what we're dealing with right now. And I can't run. And just let them all hit. Let's try again. Alright, there we go. Yeah, there are a lot of enemies here. Every step. And this is not a, you know, design this way. It's just I seem to be getting really, really unlucky. Alright. We seem to find some sort of a respite for that. That's a dead end. I believe up is a treasure chest. Maybe not. And here we go again with the every step. I'm not running because I can't beat them. I can beat them. I'm running because it takes forever. And I don't want to be here all day. 4 episodes just fighting bandits. I'll do that in my own time. And here we are on the 2nd floor. Over to the right is the stairway back up. This is there's 2 different little entrances there. These guys I can fight. It won't take too long. Same thing with these guys. Once I find that item, I can sneak out. be on our way to Hulao Gate. One of the toughest places, at least in the history. Yihuo. I think that is the better version of Lianhuo. Yeah. Spells, you'll only ever have 6 spells at a time. Some replace others. Yihuo is a stronger version of Lianhuo, which was the fire spell. So it replaced the fire spell for a better version. You got an upgrade. Yeah, tactics later on in the game. If you can pack a guy who has really high intelligence and you use them, they can do a serious punch. Just to give you kind of a hint, it doesn't really reveal much. I think people who know the history of the game will probably decipher what's going to happen later on. One of your strongest characters in this game has an intelligence of 255. So does the last boss. Last boss is a strategist. So that'll show you how important tactics are. Alright, so that's the gold key. That's what we came for. I'm actually going to give it to Lu Feng. Just for holdings. So we're done here, we can escape. I think there may be one more treasure, honestly. Maybe up there. I'm not sure. No, I guess not. Apparently the only treasures in this place were the key and the money. Just fine, the money is helpful, so is the key. Of course I chose the wrong one. Let's retreat. And up we go. Now we can get out of here. I do remember when I was a child and I played this game. This was one of the few RPGs that I really cleared every which way I could. I used to really love this game, just for its unique, its unique storytelling and stuff. I'd say this game was the reason why I got into Three Kingdoms. The story goes, I played this, and I played Romance of Three Kingdoms on the Nintendo, which was like a war strategy game, and I was kind of mesmerized at both games had the same storyline and the same characters, because I thought, okay, they're both different companies, they both use the same storyline, so I guess the storyline is like, you know, I must be history. And both games do say in the intro, like, you know, taken off of historical events. So I kind of became interested in the story, but I didn't really pursue that. I was just a kid. I didn't really have access to... The internet wasn't a thing back then. You know, I'm 29 now. It's you know... The internet, when I was a kid, wasn't much of a thing. So, 1 second here. Let me talk to this guy. Alright, so I got another general. His name, Guan Peng. Guan Peng, in the story, becomes Guan Yu's adopted son. He, you know, showed promise, and Guan Yu adopted him. And he becomes quite important as the story progresses. In this game, he doesn't gain hit points, so he outlives his usefulness of it, like, eventually, unfortunately. But he's useful now, so he's going to replace our old friend Chen Deng for now. And you may be wondering, alright, so who's going to be the spellcaster? It's going to be Lu Feng. His intelligence is 162 versus Chendeng's 157. Slight increase. Guanping's no slouch either with 137. And Huazhong's strength is 162 versus Liu Feng's 187. Okay. So here's how I'm gonna do it. Jingfei, Guan Yu, Guanping, Liu Feng, Huangshan. Huazhong, rather. And we got our new team. All those hit points sticking out the back there. Anyway, so when I was a kid, I was really into the history, but I never really got a chance to research it. Since I didn't have the internet, never really went to the library as a kid. And even then, when I did, they didn't have the book, so I didn't even know it was a book, honestly. So, fast forward to about... I was in high school, so it was about, like, maybe 2000? Maybe 1999. I find that the, first of all, the internet slowly became a thing, and I found that A, it was a book, and B, what kind of revived it in me was Dynasty Warriors 3. That just came out. Friends of mine were playing it as I came over to their house, and they were playing it, and I'm like, I sit down and I'm just watching it, and I'm not even really paying attention to it. I'm like, oh, it's kind of a neat game. Seems to be just kind of guys fighting each other. Was this Chinese? And then I start looking at the names. Zhang Jiao. I see one of them playing Zhang Jiao, and I see one of them playing, I think he was just playing, one of the non-Mon troops, which aren't in this game. Nor are in the Romance of Three Kingdoms for Nintendo. So I didn't recognize, but I recognized Zhang Jiao, like, almost. It was kind of that, like, vague, like, I think I've seen this before. And then, they were doing the Hulao Gate level, which is the battle I'm about to do. And Yuan Shao says his famous line, "Don't pursue Lu Bu." And I'm like, oh. And the other two of my friends didn't know the story at all. So I'm like, no, don't go after that guy, don't go after that guy. And they're like, how do you know? You don't know anything. And they went after him, and they immediately got their butt kicked. And they lost. And this guy doesn't see me, so I'm gonna retreat. So, let's start the battle and I'll continue my story. Huazhong's in the back going, hey! Alright, so Lu Bu. So Lu Bu wiped the floor with him, and then I'm like, oh my god, this is Three Kingdoms again! I haven't seen this in, like, forever. And you'll see that he has 255 strength. And he's the strongest warlord in the game. And he's no slouch either. He's got miserable strength, but he has decent intelligence, so he's gonna start using spells on me. First things first, Lu Bu must go down. He will always be your first target. All the time, every time. He's also kind of dumb, so spells should work on him. Nice hit. Great. And they raised their defense. So, to finish off my story, that's when I started, first of all I realized it was a book. And then I found, on 3kingdoms.com, it's kind of a free, I forget what you call it, but essentially copyright doesn't stop it from being, like, posted online. So, the complete book is online at 3kingdoms.com, and I started reading it, and I read it, and I was like, oh, wow, this is a lot different from the games. And I really loved the book. It took me forever to read because it was 120 chapters, but I really enjoyed it. And then I think I read it a second time, like later in college, because again I lost interest in it, and then I had a few college friends who were wicked into it as well. So it was like, oh man, you know, I haven't seen this in a while too, and I'm like, and we started getting into it, and it never really went away after that. I still, Dynasty Warriors, I still play Dynasty Warriors despite the fact that it's kind of the same game over and over. And now I'm back playing this, so there you go. A brief history. If you defeat me, soon I will return the favor. Also, a little bit of history. Liu Bei's forces joined with Cao Cao's forces, joined with every other forces, lost the Battle of Hula Gate. Technically. They technically lost that fight. What happened was, they fought, Guan Yu, Zhang Fei, and Liu Bei fought, Lu Bu to a duel, and they fought him to a draw, but essentially it didn't work out. The group disbanded pretty much soon after that, and Dong Zhuo reigned supreme for a little bit longer. Alright, Wang Yun. Wang Yun was important in the story too. He didn't just give you a sword. Look at my house and you'll find the gem sword. His house meaning in Luoyang, not here. Lu Bu only serves Dong Zhuo for money. Give him the gem sword, he might switch sides. Hint hint, nudge nudge. Pretty much everybody's gonna talk about that in this place. Alright, so on the next episode we're gonna finish going into these huts. And actually, one more last thing. I'm Huo Hu, good with powder. I offer my services. He's, as opposed to Mai Ji's 157 intelligence, Huo Hu's intelligence is actually higher. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back and put him in my party and come back here. And we'll finish talking to everybody and move on. And maybe I'll have more stories about Three Kingdoms. So I hope you come back for that. My name is Lucklight. Thank you for watching, and have a good one.